Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the ESS Endeavour. He watched the screen showing the planet below. The green and blue world looked peaceful from space, but Jake knew better. This was Kepler 442b, and today it would belong to the Zephyrian Empire. The attack had started 3 hours ago. Zephyrian ships filled the sky above the planet. Their weapons fired down at the cities below. Smoke rose from the ground like dark clouds. The people who lived here, called Valdorians, had no real weapons to fight back. Their ships were small and weak. Their cities had no shields. "Sir, the main city is almost ours," said Lieutenant Ben Murphy. He stood at the weapon controls. His face showed no feeling as he watched the destruction below. "The Valdorians are running away. Most of their military is gone." Jake nodded but said nothing. He had done this many times before. The Zephyrian Empire was big and strong. They took planets like this one because they needed the resources. The Valdorians had something special on their world. Something the Empire wanted very much. Down on the planet, Captain Ryan Fletcher led his soldiers through the broken streets. The air smelled of smoke and burning metal. Valdorian buildings lay in pieces. Some were still on fire. The blue-skinned people hid in basements and behind walls. They looked at the soldiers with fear in their large, dark eyes. "Keep moving," Fletcher told his men. "We need to reach the city center. Command says there is something important there." Sergeant Lisa Hayes walked beside him. She carried a big gun and wore heavy armor. "Sir, what exactly are we looking for?" "Command did not tell us much." Fletcher checked his map on his wrist computer. "They call them thornmaw beasts. Big animals that the Valdorians use as guards. Empire wants them alive if possible." "Animals?" Hayes asked. "Why would the Empire want animals?" "Because these are not normal animals," Fletcher said. "Intelligence says they are bigger than tanks and stronger than anything we have seen. The Valdorians somehow train them to obey. If we can figure out how, the Empire will have the best war animals in the galaxy." The squad moved through empty streets. Broken glass crunched under their boots. Sometimes they saw Valdorian families running away. The aliens were tall and thin with pale blue skin. They had no hair and wore simple clothes. Most carried small children or old people who could not run fast. "Do not shoot unless they attack," Fletcher ordered. "We are here for the beasts, not to kill civilians." They reached the city center after an hour of walking. The main plaza was huge and round. Tall buildings surrounded it on all sides. In the middle stood a fountain with strange alien writing around it, but that was not what made the soldiers stop and stare. 7 massive creatures stood in the plaza. They were like nothing any human had ever seen. Each beast was 12 feet tall and 20 feet long. They had 6 legs with claws as long as swords. Their skin was dark green with black spots. Sharp spines ran along their backs, glowing with blue light. But their heads were the most frightening part. Each had a mouthful of teeth bigger than a man's hand. Their eyes glowed red in the dim light. "Mother of stars," whispered Hayes. "Those things are huge." The beast stood in a perfect circle. Inside the circle, about 30 Valdorian children sat on the ground. The children were scared but not hurt. They looked up at the creatures with trust, not fear. The biggest beast, covered in scars from old fights, turned its massive head toward the soldiers. Fletcher raised his hand to stop his men from shooting. "Easy, everyone. Let's see what these things do." The scarred beast made a sound deep in its throat. It was not quite a roar, but it made the ground shake. The other beasts turned to look at the soldiers too. Their spines glowed brighter. They did not move from their positions around the children. "They are protecting the kids," Hayes said. "Look at how they stand. They are ready to fight, but they will not leave the children alone." Fletcher activated his radio. "Command, this is ground. Team Alpha, we have found the Thornmaw beasts, 7 of them. They are guarding Valdorian children in the main plaza." "Copy that, Captain," came the voice of General Marcus Stone. "Capture them alive." "Use whatever means necessary." "Sir, these things are bigger than our report said, and they seem very smart. They are not just acting on instinct. I do not care if they can do math, Captain. I want those beasts on our ships within the hour. Stone out, Fletcher looked at his soldiers. They were good fighters, but they looked nervous. The Thormaw beasts were unlike anything they had trained for. Their weapons were made to fight other soldiers, not creatures this big and strong. Okay. People, Fletcher said, let's try the easy way first. Hayes, get the neural disruptors ready. Murphy, set up the sonic cannon. Everyone else, stay back and be ready to run if this goes bad. The soldiers moved slowly around the plaza. They kept their distance from the beasts, but started setting up their equipment. The creatures watched every move. Their eyes followed each soldier. Their heads turned as one when anyone moved too fast. Hayes activated the neural disruptor. The device was supposed to confuse alien minds and make them weak. She aimed it at the biggest beast and fired. Blue energy hit the creature in the head. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the beast shook its head like it had been stung by a bug. It looked at Hayes and made another deep sound. This time, all 7 beasts answered with the same sound. It did not work, Hayes said. The disruptor did nothing. Try the sonic cannon, Fletcher ordered. Murphy fired the sonic weapon. It made a sound so high that humans could not hear it. The sound waves were supposed to hurt alien ears and make them run away. The beasts heard it and turned their heads. But they did not run. Instead, they moved closer together. They made their circle smaller around the children. They are protecting the kids from the sound, Murphy said. They know we are trying to hurt them, but they will not leave. For the next 4 hours, the soldiers tried everything they had. They used sleep gas, but the beasts held their breath. They used bright lights, but the creatures just closed their eyes. They tried to scare them with loud noises, but the beasts stood firm. Nothing worked. The Valdorian children inside the circle were getting tired and scared. Some of them cried. When they did, the beasts made soft sounds to calm them. The biggest creature even lay down so a small child could rest against its warm side. Sir, he said to Fletcher, I have been watching these things for hours. They are not just animals. Look how they take care of the children. They take turns watching for danger. They share water from the fountain. They are smart. Fletcher had noticed the same thing. The beasts worked together like a team. They communicated with small sounds and looks. When one got tired, another took its place. They never left the children alone. Command, this is Fletcher, he said into his radio. We have tried everything. The beasts will not move. They are protecting the children, and nothing we do makes them leave. Then use stronger weapons? General Stone's voice crackled through the speaker. I am sending down the heavy artillery. If those animals will not come quietly, we will take them by force. Fletcher looked at the beasts again. They were magnificent creatures, strong and loyal and brave. They could have run away hours ago, but they stayed to protect children who were not even their own species. It seemed wrong to destroy them. Sir, if we use heavy weapons, we might hurt the children too. Acceptable losses, Captain. The Empire needs those beasts. A few alien children are not important. Fletcher felt sick. He had joined the military to protect people, not to hurt children. But he was a soldier, and soldiers followed orders. He looked at his watch. The heavy weapons would arrive in 2 hours. The standoff continued as the sun began to set on Kepler 442b. The Thormaw beasts had not moved from their positions. The children were still safe inside their circle of protection. But time was running out for everyone. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the science lab of the ESS Endeavour. She looked at the big screen showing the planet below. The screen showed the plaza where the Thormaw beasts stood guard. She had been watching them for 6 hours now. What she saw made her think these creatures were more than just animals. Kevin, come look at this, she called to her helper. Dr. Kevin Walsh walked over to her station. He was young and new to studying aliens, but he was smart. What do you see, Dr. Rodriguez? Kevin asked. Elena pointed to the screen. Watch how they move. See the big one with the scars? He is the leader. When he moves his head left, the others look left too. When he sits down, two others take his place watching for danger. This is not random behavior. They are working together like a team. Kevin studied the images. You are right. They are taking turns. The one on the east side just switched places with the one on the west. They are making sure every direction is watched. Exactly, Elena said, and look at this. She changed the screen to show heat patterns. Their body temperature goes up when they are stressed. But when the children cry, their temperature goes down. They are trying to stay calm to keep the children calm. Elena had spent 20 years studying alien life. She had seen many strange creatures on many worlds, but she had never seen anything like the thornmaw beasts. They were predators, built for hunting and killing. Their claws could cut through metal. Their teeth could bite through rock. But they were using all that power to protect children who were not even their own species. Dr. Rodriguez, Kevin said quietly, I have been reading about these creatures. The Valdorians have lived with them for thousands of years. They are not pets or slaves, they are partners. Elena looked at her helper with surprise. Partners? What do you mean? The Valdorians do not own the beasts. The beasts choose to help them. Each beast picks a Valdorian family to protect. They live together, hunt together, and die together. It is like marriage, but between different species. This made Elena think. She pulled up more information on her computer. The files showed pictures of Valdorian families with their beasts. The creatures lived in their homes. They played with their children. They helped with work. They were not just animals. They were family members. Kevin, if this is true, then those beasts down there are not just protecting any children. They are protecting their own families. Meanwhile, in another part of the ship, a small human girl sat in the refugee area. Amy Parker was 8 years old. She had lost her parents when the Zephian ships attacked her home planet. Now she lived with other refugees on the big ship. She was scared and alone, but she tried to be brave. Amy liked to draw pictures. Drawing helped her forget about the bad things that had happened. Today she was drawing the creatures she had seen on the screens. The ship had big windows, and sometimes she could see the planet below. The beasts looked scary, but Amy thought they looked sad too. Nurse Benton, a kind Zephyrian woman, sat down next to Amy. What are you drawing, little one? The big dogs. Amy said. She showed her picture to Nurse Benton. They are not really dogs, but they look like dogs. Big scary dogs. Nurse Benton looked at the drawing. Amy had drawn the beasts standing around the children. But in her picture, the beasts were smiling. They had kind eyes and wagging tails like real dogs. Why did you draw them smiling? Nurse Benton asked. Amy thought for a moment. Because they are good dogs. They are protecting the little kids. Good dogs protect people they love. Back on the planet, Captain Fletcher was getting worried. The heavy weapons would arrive soon. General Stone had made it clear that he would use them no matter what. Fletcher did not want to hurt the children, but he had to follow orders. Sir, Sergeant Hayes said, I have been talking to some of the Valdorian adults. They say the beasts will die before they leave the children. They will fight to the death. Fletcher looked at the beasts again. They had been standing guard for 8 hours now. They must be tired and hungry, but they did not move. Their loyalty was complete. What else did the Valdorians tell you? Fletcher asked. They said each beast is bonded to a specific family. The children in that circle are the sons and daughters of the families those beasts protect. To the beasts, those children are their own children. This made Fletcher feel worse. He was a father too. He had a daughter back home. If someone tried to hurt her, he would fight to the death to protect her. These creatures were doing the same thing. Sir, came a voice on the radio. This is Lieutenant Cole from the weapons team. We will be ready to fire in 1 hour. General, Stone wants to know if you have moved the beasts yet. Fletcher looked at his soldiers. They all looked uncomfortable. None of them wanted to hurt children or kill creatures that were just trying to protect their families. Negative, Fletcher said into the radio. The beasts have not moved. Copy that. 1 hour until bombardment. Dr. Rodriguez heard the radio. Message in her lab, she felt sick. Those beautiful, intelligent creatures were going to be killed. The children they protected would die too. All because the Empire wanted to own something it could not understand. Kevin, she said urgently. I need to go to the refugee quarters. There is something I need to check. What are you looking for? A theory, maybe a crazy theory, but it might work. Elena rushed through the ship's corridors. She had an idea, but she needed to find the right person to help her. She reached the refugee area and started looking for someone specific. She found Amy Parker sitting in a corner, still drawing her pictures. Hello, Amy, Elena said gently. My name is Dr. Rodriguez. I am a scientist. Amy looked up at her. Are you here to take me away? No, sweetheart. I am here to ask for your help. I need someone who understands animals. Amy's eyes got brighter. I love animals. We had a dog named Buddy back home. He was really big and some people were scared of him, but he was the nicest dog ever. Elena sat down next to Amy. Tell me about Buddy. He was a German shepherd. He was black and brown and really smart. He could sit and stay and come when I called. He followed me everywhere. When other kids were mean to me, Buddy would stand between us. He never hurt anyone, but he made sure no one hurt me. What happened to Buddy? Amy's face became sad. When the bad ships came, there was a big explosion. Buddy got hurt trying to protect me and Mom and Dad. The doctor said he went to sleep forever. Elena felt her heart break for the little girl, but she also felt hope. Amy understood the love between humans and animals. She knew what it meant when an animal protected someone. Amy, do you see those big creatures on the planet down there? Amy nodded. The big dogs. They are protecting the little kids. Yes, they are. But the soldiers do not understand. They think the creatures are dangerous. They want to hurt them. Amy looked shocked. But they are good dogs? They are just protecting their families. I know they are good, but how do we make the soldiers understand? Amy thought for a moment. You have to talk to them like they are dogs. You have to show them you are not going to hurt the babies they are protecting. You have to be nice and calm. Elena realized that Amy was right. The soldiers were trying to use force and weapons, but these creatures were not responding to threats. They were responding to love and protection. The only way to reach them was through understanding, not violence. Amy, what if I told you that you could help save those creatures and the children they are protecting? Amy looked excited. Really? How? It would be dangerous. And it would mean going down to the planet. Amy stood up immediately. I want to help. Buddy would want me to help other animals who are trying to protect people. Elena knew this was crazy. Taking a child into a combat zone was against every rule. But she also knew that Amy might be the only hope for saving the beasts and the children they protected. Amy, we would have to sneak down there. And we would have to hurry. The soldiers are going to use big weapons soon. Amy nodded seriously. I understand. We have to save the big dogs and the little kids? Elena made her decision. She would risk everything to try to save those magnificent creatures. And she would trust in the wisdom of an 8-year-old girl who understood that love was stronger than fear. Time was running out. The heavy weapons would fire in less than an hour. Elena and Amy had to move fast if they wanted to save anyone. Dr. Elena Rodriguez moved quickly through the ship's corridors. She held Amy Parker's hand as they walked toward the shuttle bay. Elena's heart was beating fast. What she was about to do could get her in serious trouble, but she could not let those beautiful creatures die. Are you scared? Amy asked as they walked. A little, Elena admitted, but sometimes we have to be brave to help others. Amy squeezed Elena's hand. Buddy was scared sometimes too, but he was still brave when he needed to be. That is what makes someone a hero. They reached the shuttle bay. Elena had to get them on a ship without anyone asking questions. She had prepared a story about taking medical supplies to the soldiers on the planet. It was not completely a lie. She was taking something that might help heal the situation. Dr. Rodriguez, called a voice behind them. Elena turned to see Nurse Benton running toward them. What are you doing with Amy? Elena felt panic. If Nurse Benton reported them, their plan would fail. But then she saw the look on the nurse's face. It was not anger, it was concern. "I know what you are planning," Nurse Benton said quietly. "I heard you talking to Amy. You want to help those creatures." "Please do not stop us," Elena said. "Those beasts are going to die if we do not try something." Nurse Benton looked at Amy, then back at Elena. "I have been watching the news feeds from the planet. Those creatures are protecting children." "How? Can I stop you from trying to save them?" Elena felt relief wash over her. "Will you help us?" "I will do better than that. I will come with you. Amy needs someone to take care of her down there." The three of them got into a small medical shuttle. Elena had clearance to take supplies to the planet, so the control room let them go. As they flew down through the atmosphere, Elena explained her plan to Nurse Benton. "Amy understands animals better than any of us," Elena said. "She sees them as friends, not enemies. If anyone can talk to those beasts, it is her." Nurse Benton looked worried. "But what if the creatures do not listen? What if they attack her?" "They will not attack," Amy said confidently. "Good dogs do not hurt kids, they protect kids." The shuttle landed near the plaza where Captain Fletcher and his soldiers were waiting. Elena could see the heavy weapons team setting up their equipment. Big guns on wheels were being moved into position. The weapons looked powerful enough to destroy buildings. Captain Fletcher walked over to the shuttle as they got out. He looked confused when he saw Amy. "Dr. Rodriguez, what are you doing here, and why did you bring a child?" Elena took a deep breath. "Ryan, I need you to trust me. This child might be the key to solving this problem without anyone getting hurt." Fletcher looked at Amy, who was staring at the Thornmaw beasts with wonder. The creatures had noticed the new arrivals. Their heads turned toward the shuttle. Their spines glowed brighter. "Dr. Rodriguez, those things are dangerous. I cannot let you take a child near them." "They are not dangerous to her," Elena said. "They are protecting children. They will not hurt another child." Amy was not listening to the adults talk. She was looking at the beasts with the same expression she used to have when she saw dogs at the park. Her eyes were bright with excitement. "They are so beautiful," Amy whispered. "Look how they take care of the little kids." Inside the circle of beasts, the Valdorian children were getting more scared. They had been there for many hours. Some of them were crying. The beasts made soft sounds to comfort them, but the children could sense the danger around them. "Sir," Sergeant Hayes said to Fletcher, "the heavy weapons will be ready in 30 minutes. General Stone is asking for a final report." Fletcher looked at Elena, then at Amy, then at the beasts. He was a soldier, but he was also a father. He could see that the creatures were just trying to protect their families. The idea of killing them made him sick. "Give me 15 minutes, Fletcher said. "If Dr. Rodriguez thinks this child can help, let her try." Elena felt grateful. She knelt down next to Amy. "Remember what I told you. These creatures are like Buddy. They are scared and trying to protect the children. You need to show them that you are a friend." Amy nodded seriously. "I understand. I will be very gentle and calm." Elena, Amy, and Nurse Benton started walking slowly toward the plaza. The soldiers raised their weapons, but Fletcher signaled them to wait. The Thornmaw beasts watched them approach. The biggest one, the scarred leader, stepped forward. Amy stopped, walking when she was about 20 feet from the creatures. She did not want to scare them by getting too close too fast. Instead, she sat down on the ground and looked at them. "Hello," she said softly. "My name is Amy. I am not going to hurt you or the children." The big beast tilted its massive head. Its red eyes focused on Amy. For a moment, everything was quiet. Even the soldiers stopped moving. Amy reached into her pocket and pulled out a small piece of food. It was part of her lunch from the ship. She held it out toward the beast. "Are you hungry?" she asked. "I know you have been standing here for a long time. You must be tired." The beast took a step closer. Its nostrils flared as it smelled the food. But it did not take the food. Instead, it made a low sound that seemed almost like a question. Amy understood. You want to know if I am safe, right? You want to know if I will hurt the children. She slowly stood up and walked to the side. She was showing the beast that she was not trying to get between it and the children it was protecting. I would never hurt children, Amy said. I love children. I used to take care of my little cousin back home. Her name was Lucy. The beast's posture changed slightly. It was still alert, but it seemed less aggressive. The other beasts were watching too. They made soft sounds to each other like they were talking. You are talking to your friends, Amy said with a smile. You are telling them that I am okay. Thank you for trusting me. Elena watched in amazement. Amy was reading the creatures' behavior perfectly. She understood their body language and their sounds. The child was communicating with them better than any scientist or soldier had managed to do. Amy, Elena called softly, try taking another step closer. Amy moved forward slowly. The big beast did not back away. Instead, it lowered its head so that its face was closer to Amy's level. This was a sign of trust. The creature was showing that it did not see Amy as a threat. You are such a good boy, Amy said gently. You are taking such good care of everyone. The children are lucky to have you protecting them. Behind them, the soldiers were amazed. These creatures that had defied every weapon and every strategy were responding to a small human child. Captain Fletcher activated his radio. Command, this is Fletcher. We may have a breakthrough. The child is making contact with the beasts. General Stone's voice crackled through the speaker. What kind of contact? Are they surrendering? Not surrendering. Sir, communicating. The beasts are responding to the child in a way they have not responded to anything else. I do not care if they are singing songs together, Captain. I want those beasts captured in the next 15 minutes, or I am firing the heavy weapons. Fletcher felt his stomach drop. Even if Amy could communicate with the beasts, there was no time to work out a peaceful solution. The general was determined to use force. Amy heard the radio conversation. She looked back at Elena with worry in her eyes. Are they going to hurt the big dogs? Elena knelt down next to Amy. That is what we are trying to prevent. Can you ask the beast to let the children go? If the children are safe, maybe the soldiers will not hurt the beasts. Amy shook her head. That is not how it works. The big dogs will not leave the children until they know someone else will protect them. They need to trust that the children will be safe. Elena realized that Amy was right. The beasts were not going to abandon their protective duties just because humans asked them to. They needed to believe that the children would be cared for. Amy, what if you promised to take care of the children? What if you showed the beasts that you would protect them? Amy's eyes lit up. Yes, I can do that. But I need to get closer. I need to show them that I am not afraid. Elena looked at the massive creatures. Their claws were longer than knives. Their teeth were bigger than her hand. But she trusted Amy's understanding of animals. Be very careful, Elena said. And if anything goes wrong, run back to us immediately. Amy nodded and started walking toward the circle of beasts. She was about to do something that would change everything. She was about to show the galaxy that sometimes the smallest person could make the biggest difference. Amy Parker walked slowly toward the circle of thornmaw beasts. Her small feet made no sound on the broken stones of the plaza. Behind her, Dr. Rodriguez held her breath. Nurse Benton put her hand over her mouth. Captain Fletcher and his soldiers watched without moving. The big scarred beast turned its massive head to follow Amy's movements. Its red eyes never left her face. The other 6 beasts stayed in their positions around the Valdorian children, but Amy could see them watching her. Too. Their spines glowed brighter as she got closer. Hello, big friend, Amy said softly when she was 10 feet away. I know you are scared. I know you want to protect the little ones. I want to help you. The beast made a deep sound in its throat. It was not angry or threatening. It sounded more like a question. Amy had heard dogs make similar sounds when they were trying to understand something. You want to know who I am, Amy said. My name is Amy. I am 8 years old. I had a dog named Buddy who was very brave, just like you. Amy sat down on the ground. This made her much smaller than the huge creature. It also showed that she was not trying to attack or threaten anyone. She had learned this from her father when he taught her how to meet new dogs. The beast lowered its head until it was only a few feet from Amy. She could smell its breath and feel the warmth from its body. Its teeth were as big as her fingers, but Amy was not afraid. "You are beautiful," Amy whispered. "Your eyes are so smart. I can see that you love the children very much." Behind the beast, the Valdorian children watched with wonder. They had never seen anyone get so close to their protectors without being part of their families. One small Valdorian girl, about Amy's age, spoke to the beast in their alien language. The beast made a soft sound back to her. "She is telling you that I am okay," Amy said to the beast. "She can see that you are not afraid of me. That means I must be a good person." Amy slowly reached out her hand. She moved very carefully, just like her father had taught her. The beast sniffed her hand with its large nose. Its breath was warm and smelled like grass and earth. "Good boy," Amy said when the beast finished smelling her hand. "You are such a good boy. You are keeping everyone safe." The beast made a sound that was almost like a purr. It was deep and rumbling, and Amy could feel it in her chest. The other beasts heard it and made similar sounds. They were talking to each other. Amy stood up slowly and took another step closer. Now she was close enough to touch the beast if she wanted to. But she waited. She wanted the beast to decide if it was ready for that. The creature looked at her for a long moment. Then it did something amazing. It lowered its head even more and gently touched Amy's shoulder with its nose. It was the same thing Buddy used to do when he wanted to be petted. "You want me to pet you?" Amy said with a smile. "Okay, but I will. Be very gentle." Amy reached up and carefully touched the beast's head. Its skin was warm and felt like leather. The beast closed its eyes and made a happy sound. Amy petted it the same way she used to pet Buddy. "You are lonely," Amy said softly. "You have been standing here protecting the children for so long. You are tired and scared and you miss your families." The beast opened its eyes and looked at Amy. She could see sadness there, mixed with hope. This creature understood that Amy cared about it. From behind them came the sound of heavy machinery. Captain Fletcher was getting reports that the big weapons were almost ready. Amy heard the noise and knew she was running out of time. "Listen to me," Amy said urgently to the beast. "The soldiers are scared of you. They think you are dangerous because you are so big and strong. They want to hurt you because they do not understand." The beast made a worried sound. It looked toward the soldiers, then back at the children it was protecting. "But I understand," Amy continued. "You are not dangerous. You are protectors. You are heroes, just like Buddy was a hero." Amy looked back at Dr. Rodriguez. "Can you bring the Valdorian adults here? The ones who belong to these beasts?" Elena nodded and spoke quickly to Captain Fletcher. Within minutes, several Valdorian adults were brought to the plaza. They had been hiding in nearby buildings. When they saw their beasts, they cried out in their alien language. The beasts heard their families calling and made excited sounds back, but they did not leave their positions. They would not abandon the children, even to go to their loved ones. "See?" Amy said to the beast she was petting. "Your family is safe. They are worried about you too. But you cannot go to them until you know the children will be protected." Amy had an idea. She walked over to the circle where the Valdorian children sat. The beasts watched her carefully but did not try to stop her. They could sense that she meant no harm. "Hello," Amy said to the children. "I know you are scared, but I am here to help." The children looked at her with their large, dark eyes. They could not understand her words, but they could hear the kindness in her voice. One of the older children spoke to the others in Valdorian. Soon they were all looking at Amy with curiosity instead of fear. Amy sat down among the children. This was very important. By sitting with them, she was showing the beasts that she was willing to be part of their protection circle. She was offering to help guard the children. The big scarred beast saw what Amy was doing. It made a deep sound that seemed to come from its heart. The other beasts answered with similar sounds. They were having a conversation. You are deciding whether to trust me, Amy said to them. You are asking each other if I can help protect the children. Amy looked at each beast in turn. I promise I will not let anyone hurt these children. I will stay with them until they are safe with their families. You can trust me. The beasts continued their conversation. Their sounds were getting softer and more musical. Amy realized they were not just talking to each other. They were also talking to the children. The Valdorian children made small sounds back. They are telling you that I am okay, Amy said to the beasts. The children can feel that I am safe. They know I will not hurt them. Just then, Captain Fletcher's radio crackled loudly. Captain Fletcher, this is General Stone. You have 5 minutes before we fire the heavy weapons. Get your people away from those creatures now. Amy heard the message and felt panic. 5 minutes was not enough time. She had to do something quickly. She stood up in the middle of the circle of children and looked at the biggest beast. I know you understand me, she said clearly. I know you can see that I love these children just like you do. But the soldiers are going to hurt everyone if we do not do something now. The beast tilted its head and made a questioning sound. Amy took a deep breath. She remembered all the times she had given commands to Buddy. She remembered how her voice had to be firm, but kind. She remembered that the most important thing was trust. You have been so brave, Amy said to the beast. You have protected these children for hours and hours. You are the best protectors anyone could ask for, but now I need you to trust me. Amy looked directly into the beast's glowing red eyes. She spoke with all the love and authority she had learned from taking care of Buddy. Sit, she said clearly. The plaza became completely silent. Every soldier, every scientist, every refugee watching from the ship above held their breath. The fate of the children, the beasts, and maybe the future of 2 species hung on what happened next. The great scarred beast looked at Amy for what felt like forever. Then slowly and carefully it lowered its massive body to the ground. It sat down just like a dog following a command from someone it trusted. One by one, the other 6 beasts did the same thing. They all sat down, still forming their protective circle, but no longer standing in a threatening position. Amy smiled and walked over to pet the big beast again. Good boy, she said softly. You are such a good boy. The Thormaw beasts had done something no one thought was possible. They had obeyed a command from someone who was not Valdorian. They had obeyed a command from a human child who understood that love was stronger than fear. The silence in the plaza was complete. Captain Fletcher stared at the 7 massive Thormaw beasts sitting in perfect formation around the Valdorian children. His mouth was open in shock. Behind him, his soldiers lowered their weapons without being told. No one could believe what they had just seen. Amy Parker, 8 years old and barely reaching the shoulder of the smallest beast, walked calmly among the sitting creatures. She petted each one gently and spoke to them in a soft voice. Good boys, she said. You are all such good boys. Thank you for trusting me. The beasts made happy rumbling sounds. Their spines stopped glowing so brightly. For the first time in hours, they looked relaxed. But they still kept their eyes on the children, ready to protect them if needed. Dr. Rodriguez ran toward Amy with tears in her eyes. Amy, that was incredible. How did you know they would listen to you? Amy shrugged like it was the most natural thing in the world. They are just like Buddy. They wanted to do the right thing, but they were scared. When you show them that you understand and care about what they care about, they trust you. Captain Fletcher activated his radio with shaking hands. Command, this is Fletcher. The situation has changed. The beasts are no longer in attack position. They have sat down. General Stone's voice came through the speaker, sounding angry and confused. What do you mean they sat down? Did you use some kind of weapon? No, sir. A human child gave them a command, and they obeyed. The silence that followed lasted so long that Fletcher thought his radio was broken. Finally, General Stone spoke again. Explain. That again, Captain, slowly. Sir, an 8-year-old human girl walked up to the beasts, told them to sit, and they obeyed. All 7 of them. Fletcher could hear excited voices in the background on the command ship. Everyone was talking at once. This was not something that had ever happened before in the history of the Zephyrian Empire. While the adults dealt with their shock, Amy was busy with more important things. She sat down among the Valdorian children and started talking to them. She could not speak their language, but she could smile and make funny faces. Soon the alien children were giggling and trying to copy her expressions. The Thornmaw beasts watched this with great interest. They could see that Amy was making their young charges happy. This made them trust her even more. The biggest beast, a scarred leader, lay down completely. It rested its massive head on its paws but kept its eyes open and alert. "Look," Amy said to Dr. Rodriguez. "He is relaxing because he knows I will help watch the children. But he is still ready to protect them if something bad happens. Just like Buddy used to do when I had friends over to play." Nurse Benton knelt down next to Amy. "Sweetheart, you have done something amazing, but what happens now?" "The soldiers still want to capture these creatures." Amy looked thoughtful. "They do not need to capture them. The big dogs do not want to hurt anyone. They just want their families to be safe. If we promise that no one will hurt the Valdorians, the beasts will be happy." Dr. Rodriguez realized that Amy was right. The entire conflict had started because the Zephyrian Empire wanted to take the beasts away from their families. But what if there was another way? "Amy, what if the Valdorians and their beasts could stay together? What if they could live on their planet but also help the Empire sometimes?" Amy's face lit up. "Like a friendship instead of being prisoners?" "Exactly like a friendship." Captain Fletcher had been listening to their conversation. He activated his radio again. "Command, I need to speak with General Stone directly. I think we have found a solution that does not require violence." Within minutes, General Stone's image appeared on a portable screen that one of the soldiers brought over. The general looked frustrated and impatient. "Captain Fletcher, explain to me how a child accomplished what your entire squad could not." Fletcher looked at Amy, who was now playing a clapping game with 3 Valdorian children, while the beasts watched with what could only be described as amusement. "Sir, the child understood something we did not. These creatures are not just animals. They are family members. They cannot be separated from the Valdorians any more than you could separate a human parent from their child." "I do not care about their feelings, Captain. I care about results. Can we use these creatures or not?" Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward. "General Stone, with respect, I think we are asking the wrong question. Instead of asking if we can use them, we should ask if they will help us. What is the difference?" Amy looked up from her game with the children. "The difference is that friends help each other. Prisoners just try to escape." General Stone stared at the small human girl on his screen. "And you think these beasts would be willing to help the Empire?" Amy stood up and walked over to the big, scarred beast. She put her small hand on its massive head. "Why do you not ask them? What happened next surprised everyone." Amy spoke directly to the beast as if she was talking to a person. "Big friend, the soldiers want to know if you would help them sometimes, not as prisoners but as friends. You would still live here with your families. But maybe sometimes you could help protect other children on other planets." The beast looked at Amy with its intelligent red eyes. Then it turned to look at the Valdorian adults who had been watching from the edge of the plaza. It made a series of sounds that were clearly questions. One of the Valdorian elders, an old man with silver markings on his blue skin, stepped forward. He spoke to the beast in their language. The conversation went on for several minutes, with other Valdorians joining in. Finally, the elder turned to Captain Fletcher. "Our guardians say they will consider helping your empire, but only under certain conditions." General Stone leaned forward on the screen. "What conditions?" "First, no Valdorian or beast will be taken from this planet against their will. Second, any missions must be to protect innocent people, especially children. Third, Valdorian handlers must accompany their bonded beasts on any mission. And fourth, the human child must be our ambassador." Everyone turned to look at Amy, who was now sitting between 2 of the massive beasts like they were giant pets. "Me?" Amy asked. "Why me?" The Valdorian elder smiled. Because you are the first outsider our guardians have ever trusted. You understand them in a way that others do not. General Stone looked like he was having trouble processing all of this information. He had expected to capture some dangerous animals. Instead, he was being asked to negotiate a treaty with them. And if I agree to these terms, the beasts will cooperate? The scarred beast stood up and walked over to where Captain Fletcher was standing. The huge creature lowered its head and gently touched the soldier's hand with its nose. It was the same gesture it had made with Amy. Fletcher felt tears in his eyes. I think that is a yes, sir. Over the next few hours, something unprecedented happened. The Zephyrian Empire signed its first treaty with a non-humanoid species. The Thornmaw beasts and their Valdorian partners would remain free on their home planet. In exchange, they would help the Empire with rescue missions and protection duties when asked. Amy Parker became the youngest ambassador in galactic history. She spent the next several months on Kepler 442b learning to communicate with both the Valdorians and their beast companions. She discovered that the creatures were even more intelligent than anyone had guessed. They could learn new languages, solve complex problems, and showed deep emotional connections not just to their Valdorian families but to anyone who treated them with kindness and respect. Years later, when Amy was grown up and famous throughout the galaxy, she would often tell the story of her first day on Kepler 442b. She would explain how 7 massive predators had taught her that the strongest force in the universe was not weapons or fear, but love and understanding. The Thornmaw beasts became legend. Stories spread across the galaxy about the creatures who could not be conquered by force, but would follow a child who showed them kindness. They became symbols of the idea that cooperation was stronger than domination, and in the great halls of the Zephyrian Empire, where representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered to make laws and treaties, there was always a special place reserved for the Valdorian delegation and their magnificent guardians. It served as a reminder that sometimes the greatest victories came not from fighting, but from listening to the wisdom of a child who understood that every creature, no matter how big or scary, just wanted to protect the ones they loved. Amy Parker had shown the galaxy that the most powerful weapon was not a gun or a bomb, but a simple word spoken with love and trust. She had proven that even the mightiest beasts would sit down for someone who cared enough to understand them. The war between the Empire and the beasts was over. But the friendship between humans, Valdorians, and Thornmaw beasts had just begun.